Big Z Reviews. Us is Jordan Peele's second film that he's written and directed, and again, he's kind of hit a home run with it because this film is incredibly interesting and artistic and has full of deeper meanings, but at the same time, it still works on what you see on the screen, which I think can be tough to do sometimes when trying to do something different. And I just really loved it. So in the cold open of the film, you have this kid, played by in the future by Lupita Nyong'o, but Adelaide Wilson, and she is, at a park, and like her parents are kind of fighting. The dad's a little drunk, and the mom has to go to the bathroom, and she kind of goes exploring, and goes into this this hall of mirrors, and she sees a double. She sees something else in the hall of mirrors, and then it's like a really creepy thing because you expect, a jump scare. You expect, the common horror things you would do with that sort of scene, but it doesn't do that. Instead, it just kind of fades into the present day, and you see them, the Lupita Nyong'o, Winston Duke, and their kids, going to their cabin or summer home or whatever by the beach where the original scene happened, and it really sets the tone for the whole film because the opening scene is very creepy and interesting, but it doesn't do the normal horror things you would expect it to do, and I love that, and I like a good too. I like a good doppelganger story, sort of story, and I like a lot of things that they did because once it sets the tone that it's very creepy, and the whole film gets very creepy. Also, it is kind of darkly humorous at times, and it is really interesting, other times. But I like that they set up this thing where at first it seems like a home invasion sort of horror story, and I like horror. Those kind of films can be really fun. But it turns into something else when the home invaders are doppelgangers of themselves, and I won't spoil the rest of the stuff in the movie, but that's all stuff that's set up in the trailers, and that's pretty the core idea of the film. And when they do it, the Lupita Nyong'o especially, how she does each version is so crazy. But as the red version of her, the voice that she does is just so different, and I love that. Every character is giving so much to do. It's an acting class where just go crazy, and I love that. And I mean, all the people, even Elizabeth Moss and Tim Heidecker, they're friends, and they're really cool too. Again, I like the two kids, Shahadi White Joseph and Evan Alex. As they're really good in what they have to do as well, and I like that the version themselves are they're like themselves but not, and they have to decide whether that they can survive or what they have to do to survive, and I really like that there's so many different ways that you could take certain parts of the film. There's a lot of metaphor seeped into this film. But it also just works what you see on the screen. One thing I really like too, that in Lupita Nyong'o, a lot of characters, they all have lighter clothing, and as the movie goes along, they have to fight for their lives, and their clothes get dirtier and bloodier. And I really like different things. There's so many different things you could pick out and look at and study, and that there's stuff there, which is so interesting. It's not just all just. Sometimes when people spend a lot over-examine a film, it's all just making stuff up. But this, you can tell that he knew what he was doing, Jordan Peele, when he was making this film. Really, my only problem I had with it, and this isn't that big of a problem, but it's just that at a certain point towards the end, they decided to do an info dump and have the main villain monologue a little bit about what they're doing and why they're doing and where they came from. And they do enough that it doesn't make sense for, what they look like and what's going on. But at the same time, I almost wish if they didn't explain anything, then they wouldn't have to explain anything. Then I'd be fine. I wouldn't ask any questions. I wouldn't think, but why are they, where they get the red jumpsuits and the driving glove and the scissors, and like I wouldn't have, and I would you wouldn't, but like there's interesting stuff there with these characters, the tethered and what they are. And I think by when you try to explain it slightly, it's worse than when you don't explain it at all. Like, it's kind of goofy. Like I always feel like if in the movie, it gets in my belief, like my if I'm able to just throw away, like I don't have to think about this, then I won't think about it. But if you do something where I kind of have to think about it, then my brain goes, that doesn't work. So like, the suspension of disbelief. Like if you try to explain things and this explanation doesn't work, it makes less sense than when you just don't explain anything. But I still just like a lot of things they did, and I think that there's a lot of stuff that you could talk about with what these things are, these, and why, how they work with our, within reality, like the metaphors for the real world. And so I think that they are what they're there for. It really works. I just wish for the actual part of the story, they didn't try to explain it at all. And I like to they do things. I think they knew, like Jordan Peele knew that people are smart. Like he doesn't like think that his viewers are idiots. And I really like that, because I really appreciate, because like I think he thought that people would expect certain twists to happen, but then he plays with that differently, and I really appreciated that. And I love the film. I'd probably give it like a 9.25 out of 10. I thoroughly enjoyed it. But thanks for watching. Together we play some head and subscribe to me in that Z over there. Thanks. This has been a Big Z movie review. Thanks for watching.